Hello guys, welcome back to our channel, Mystery Recaps. Today, I will demonstrate the 2018 horror mystery film, The Possession of Hannah Grace. There are spoilers ahead, watch out and be cautious. On a bed within an abandoned church, a young woman is restrained. There are 3 men present with her. 2 are clergymen. The first is her father. The older priest is exorcising the young woman. Hannah, as he approaches to determine if she is still breathing, she awakens the demon possessing her body. While the older priest continues with the exorcism, the younger priest sprays her with holy water. Her father approaches her as she convulses and begs her to fight. The demon briefly impersonates the girl by changing its eyes to match hers, but laughs as it fools the father. It takes control of the older priest and kills him by throwing him across the room. Then it begins suffocating the younger priest, who is observing the situation. The father kills the girl with a pillow, which frees the other priest from the demon's grasp. Her fingers are moving. Lisa immediately joins Megan at a hospital job interview 3 months later. While drinking coffee, Lisa informs Megan that she will be there to assist. Megan then walks to the facility with Dr. Louis, who describes her new position. He asks her about her problems at her previous job as a police officer, but she responds that she's much better now and can handle the duties. They enter a lift, and the doctor explains that, after a while, people become uncomfortable with their jobs. Their imaginations ran rampant. She does not believe that will occur. As they progress further into the basement area, he informs her that the night shift can only enter and exit the facility with a swiped security card. He continues to guide her throughout the facility and leads her to the intake bay. While on duty, she is forbidden from leaving the premises. After the intake bay, she must transport the bodies to the receiving room, where she will photograph and scan their fingerprints. Finally entering the facility's freezers, he introduces her to the team. The following evening, Megan enters the hospital at night and speaks with security at the reception desk. Dave, one of the guards, introduces himself. "And welcome to the night shift, sir." Megan descends to the resting facility. She is later observed working on her computer as the lights go out. She turns them on again while conversing. She and an ambulance worker transport a deceased individual from the intake bag to the receiving area when a body arrives. Next, she is photographing the body and scanning its fingerprints. She places the body in the freezer, but Dave suddenly appears and frightens her. He pursues her while apologizing. Megan continues her work afterward. When she returns from the loo, she has a vision of an angry man standing in the hallway. She attempts to take some pills, but she refrains. Next, she is seen in a meeting sitting next to Lisa and relating her encounter with the man to the group. As a police officer, she was about to arrest him, but he shot her partner before she could intervene. She reveals that whenever she recalls the event, she craves alcohol and pills. Someone awakens her on that day by knocking on her door. Andrew, her ex-boyfriend and a police officer, is there to retrieve the rest of his belongings. She tells him about her new job, but he thinks that spending so much time alone is a bad idea. Megan informs him that the idea came from Lisa, who her sponsor is, and that she thrived on the night shift. The following evening, she is at work when the intake bay alarm sounds. Megan goes to investigate, but no one is initially present. Suddenly, a homeless man appears and asks her to let him inside. She refuses and instead contacts security to report the man. When a body is ready at the intake bay, Randy, the ambulance driver, asks her to assist him in moving it because he cannot do so alone. As the body is being moved, she reluctantly steps out, knowing that this is against the regulations. The homeless man enters the building and enters the lift, but Megan does not notice him. Randy is significantly more chatty than the previous driver and begins to tell her about the body as they transfer it. The body was discovered in an alley, and the perpetrator fled with no identification. The deceased is Hannah. Randy insists that whoever murdered her also attempted to burn her body. He is escorted out by Megan. The lights at the opposite end of the corridor come on now as she enters the house to process the corpse. Her first attempt to capture an image fails. She tries again without success. When she injures herself, Megan moves the camera and attempts to take another photograph. She then proceeds to the fingerprints. She accepts them and begins to scan them in. If the computer is unable to, uncertain of what to do. Megan places Hannah's body in the freezer, but as she pushes it in, one of the tables begins to shake and several broken vials fall to the floor. She slashed her hand while attempting to pick them up. As she returns to push the body completely into the freezer, a drop of her blood falls on it while it is still in the freezer room. The freezer door suddenly opens as she dresses her wound. She examines it and closes it. Next, she checks on Hannah's case using Andrew's password on her computer. She prints out her file and returns to the body for a second examination. The AI color in the file is different from the body color. One fly suddenly appears on the body, followed by a swarm of them, terrifying Megan. She takes a second glance. However, the flies are no longer present. Megan returns Hannah indoors and then returns to her computer. She hears a noise and goes to investigate, only to discover that the body has disappeared. She steps outside and sees someone dragging away the body. Therefore, she follows. Suddenly, the homeless man attacks her, but she successfully defends herself. And as she reaches for his knife, he has vanished, leaving the body in the hallway. She contacts security and requests that they contact the police. Megan returns to the hallway, but the body has vanished. She enters the burning room and discovers the man preparing to burn the body. So she attempts to reason with him. Suddenly, security enters the room and subdues him. As they take him away, however, it becomes evident that he is Hannah's father. He instructs Megan to dispose of the body, claiming that she is still alive. Later, he is apprehended, and Megan is disposing of the body. When she hears something odd, she closes the freezer and leaves regardless. However, the doors reopen. Megan is hesitant to walk back, but she still removes the body from the bag and opens it. Her phone abruptly rings. Andrew is observing her, but as she turns, her body begins to move. Megan examines it more closely as it exhales. When Lisa enters the room, she hurriedly wraps up her work and leaves. She informs Megan that she can find a replacement for her shift, but Megan insists on staying. She informs Lisa that she heard the body exhale, but Lisa assures her that this is a normal occurrence. Later, they are in her office discussing the assault and the night her partner was shot. Lisa and Megan leave the facility when Dave informs her that a police officer wishes to speak with her, while Dave remains in the facility. Once more, the freezer door opens. Andrew is the officer awaiting her. He inquires about her health before asking her about a missing bottle of pills from his belongings. She becomes angry with him, but before he leaves, she asks him for assistance. Megan returns to the retirement home and collects Hannah's fingerprints. Something is moving within the freezer, prompting him to open the door and investigate. When a hand grabs and then pushes him out, it exerts control over his body, as it did with the priest, and drags him back into the freezer. Megan returns to the facility and enters the loo. She sends an apology text to Andrew before hearing someone enter the loo and assuming it is Dave. The rubber band ball is rolled to her, and she squats down to see who it is. Megan is terrified when a burnt hand grabs her from the floor, but she nevertheless exits the cubicle. There is no content there. 3 months later, Andrew calls her and informs her that Hannah has been deceased for 3 months. Megan searches online for Hannah and discovers an article claiming she was possessed by a demon. She returns to the crime scene and addresses the matter. A large wound that was on it previously no longer exists. The second security guard is also searching for Dave. When she arrives at the front desk, she requests the security footage from her office. She examines the footage and discovers a glitch that suggests the body is in the hallway. She is frightened by this and wants to take more pills, but instead she seeks out Lisa to get her opinion on the footage. They are both in the facility viewing the footage, but Megan sees something that Lisa does not. However, she does see the pills, while Megan is explaining what the man said about the body in the room that was on fire. Lisa confronts her about the drugs and is skeptical of her denial that she ingested any. Her sponsor believes that she is experiencing visions due to stress. Lisa, the facility's leader, goes to the stairwell to light a cigarette. She hears a noise upstairs and, believing it to be Dave, runs up to them. When she reaches a corner, she spots Dave in the shadows. The body emerges from the darkness and begins to pursue her. Lisa goes to the roof, but the creature follows her and kills her inside the facility. There is a new intake. It's Randy again, but Megan will not help him this time. She explains what has transpired and brings him inside to inquire about the wound on the body. He claims to have witnessed it as well as her burned arm when it arrived. Megan informs him that it appears the body is healing itself. Megan is left alone once more, and she calls Andrew to inform him that she kept his medication because she was anxious. She desired to be candid with him before hanging up the phone. The body is spotted crawling behind her, but she is unaware of its presence. The lift is currently repairing itself. Randy is leaving the hospital parking lot when he suddenly collides with something. He goes outside to investigate, but as he answers his phone, he hears a strange noise behind him. He investigates what it was and peers through the ambulance's back window. The corpse is creeping up behind him. When he turns around, it is there. He attempts to flee, but is trapped between two ambulances and pursued by a third. It crawls up to him and simultaneously kills him. Megan examines the footage from the previous few seconds and notices the same glitch in the lift, followed by the body crawling inside. She is not permitted to leave because she believes Randy is in danger and leaves anyway. She enters the parking lot and discovers him deceased. Andrew contacts her and informs her that the man who escaped the burning room has escaped. He suddenly appears behind her and seizes her as a hostage. He instructs her to remove the corpse from the freezer when he opens the bag. The body has once again changed. He claims that she heals herself by murdering others. The man inquires why it has not killed her as well. Megan affirms that she believes him, so he begins to describe Hannah, explaining that the demon within her refuses to leave and that she has blue eyes. This is Mark. He explains that he killed her in order to save the lives of others during the last exorcism. However, when they went to bury the body, it was gone. 4 people were killed in the funeral home. The only way to destroy the demon is to burn the body, he tells Megan as they enter the burning room. As Hannah looks at the fire, the demon incapacitates her father and then pursues Hannah. However, the man attacks it to save Megan, only to be burned himself. The body crawls behind her as she runs. Andrew arrives at the hospital and discovers both her phone and Randy's body. Megan continues to flee from the walking body, but it continues to catch up with her. As Andrew enters the facility, it crawls towards her. He searches for Megan inside, but the body simply drags her into the freezer where she encounters the other corpses. Andrew encounters the other security guard, who informs him that the hospital is in disarray. They approach the noise Megan creates in the freezer room after hearing it. Megan is discovered on the floor. The guard sees the corpse and flees, but it catches up with him and kills him. The body recovers from its final wound and pursues Andrew. Megan finally incapacitates the demon long enough for her ex-boyfriend to escape the facility after gaining the courage to begin shooting at it. In the final image of the film, the police find her sitting on the floor playing with a rubber band ball. Megan is observing her reflection in the mirror. Her hair is covering one of her eyes. She squashes a fly that suddenly appears on the mirror. Be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you can view similar videos. Thank you for viewing.